Hey, what's up guys? It's Shane, and we're going to do another video, another Truck Talk Tuesday. Before I get into the actual video, I actually shot this a while back before I even was going to start doing Truck Talk Tuesdays. We wanted to kind of document, or at least talk about, our infertility journey somewhat on this channel, because this is a channel not just about real estate, not just about my opinions on certain things, but also we kind of want to just be about us, and we want to kind of give you guys a little insight to what we're all about and who we are. And we have infertility struggles, and I wanted to give my perspective on what my thoughts are, or a man's perspective on the infertility journey, because I know it's a lot different than a woman's perspective, or like the emotions that a woman goes through versus what a man goes through. And it doesn't really affect us as deep or as harshly sometimes as it does a woman's body or a woman's emotional psyche. And I just kind of want to give my perspective on that aspect. So here's my video that I did a while back when we kind of first started this whole process. And yeah, here's my 2 cents. Truck Talk Tuesday. Hey guys, it's Shane, and I wanted to talk a little bit about, as I'm driving, I know it's a little irresponsible, if you will, but I have headphones in, I'm keeping my eyes on the road, and occasionally I'll look at you guys here, but I wanted to talk a little bit about something that's kind of close and near and dear to my heart and Rachel's heart, and it's the fact that we want to have kids. And it's been a very trying experience to have kids, and we're faced with some very big infertility issues. And that's one thing that, you know, I guess there's some people that talk about it, some people that don't talk about it, and I know that everybody's case is different. And you know, there's some that are, you know, worst case scenarios, there's some that are not so worst case scenarios. And you know, for us, it's a pretty difficult situation. It's pretty tough. We don't have an easy road, if you will, with that. And something that kind of came to fruition to us is that when we received our first box of medication, I say we, it's mainly for Rachel, and I feel terrible for that. And you know, I'm going to give you kind of the perspective of a male's perspective on what infertility is. And if you don't know what infertility is the inability for a man and a woman, or a male and a female, to procreate, or procreate, I think that's the right word, to have a baby, have a kid. And you know, you never really think about that when you're growing up, that you may or may not be able to have a kid, and you never really think about that kind of stuff. And Rachel and I have been not trying, if that makes sense, for the last 3 or 4 years. And you know, we really started, you know, looking into it and kind of getting checked out and things like that about a year ago. And when we went into our first appointment, we told them that we have not been trying for, you know, 3 or 4 years because of you know, Rachel's kind of conditions, if you will. And from that point on, we told them that since it's been like 3 or 4 years and we still have yet to have a kid, he's like, there's definitely some infertility issues, so we need to get checked out. So we started kind of going through the whole rigmarole of getting tested and kind of figuring out what is wrong, or what the issues are from preventing us from having kids. And without boring you too much, or actually no, I'll get into it a little bit. Some of the things that is preventing it, and I feel terrible about this because nothing really stems from me. It kind of all falls on Rachel and her body, and it sucks because you wish to kind of share the blame, if you will, for not having it. And you know, it weighs a lot on a woman when it's their body. And I mean, theirs is the body that does the most of the chemical reaction, or magic, if you will, of having a kid. And so there's like one of the key components, right? Yeah, it takes two to tango, if you will, but the woman's body is where all the magic happens. And with her body, we have a lot of different things kind of working against us. She has like really bad endometriosis. She has a blocked tube. She doesn't ovulate correctly. Now she only has one fallopian tube. So there's a couple different other things that are kind of preventing it, but those are like the big main things. She doesn't ovulate. She doesn't She has endometriosis, and she only has one working fallopian tube. So that kind of really hinders the whole process. The fact that you don't ovulate is a huge deal, and for a guy to try to understand all this, it's really, it's kind of complicating. I mean, there's just so many different. When you start this, you never really think about how many different things can affect you and your spouse or your girlfriend or whoever to have a kid. And you see so many cases out there that it just spontaneously happens, and it just happens, one night stands or what have you. And then when you actually get into actually trying to have a kid, and you see how small the window is to have a kid, and then on top of that, like just the happenstance, like it's really crazy. But with that being said, like, my perspective on infertility is it sucks. I mean, it flat out, it just sucks. And there's so many people that deal with it that you don't really hear about, because nobody really likes to talk about it. It's kind of one of those things that's kind of put on the back burner, or is put in the back because nobody likes to talk about it because of how sensitive people are. And I think the more people talk about infertility, the better we would all be about it and be more sensitive to it. And it sucks, especially when you are trying to have a kid and you see so many people that are becoming pregnant or starting that next journey in their life, and to start a family, and it's a big deal. On my side, and for males in general, like, infertility is not really, doesn't really have to do much. I mean, yeah, there could be low testosterone or a low sperm count, or there's those aspects of the infertility on the male side. I fortunately do not have any of those. But what males or men or guys don't understand when it comes to infertility is how it affects a woman's body or emotions or anything like that. Like, one of the biggest things that I've found out through this short process, or this short stint that I've been in this process, is that Rachel, she's a very strong woman, but when it comes to becoming a mother, or being told that you may not be able to be a mother, which we understand that there's adopting, there's also surrogate, and there's other different ways of that. But when you're told that you cannot physically conceive a kid, or you may not be able to, it kind of weighs on you, and it weighs on the woman more, because especially when it's their body that's unable to do that. And it's one of those things where you need to, as a male, you need to support your girlfriend or wife as much as possible through this process, because it's not easy. It's not easy at all, and especially for a woman. Not only is it physically tough, it's emotionally tough. One of the biggest things you can do as a man going through infertility issues is just be there to support your wife or your girlfriend or whoever it is that is going through this, because it's such a psyche drain on a woman's mental state and their physical state. And it's just one of those things where you just got to be there for them. And when you don't have to deal with as much stuff as they go through, like all the pins, all the medication, all the different things they have to do just to make sure that their body is like in the most pristine, tip-top shape to be able to receive the egg and let the egg attach to their uterus and whatnot. It's a crazy thing that they have to go through, and us as guys, we don't have to. So that's why, like, the biggest thing that we can do to help benefit and like help alleviate some of the stress, to make it easier on them, is just to be there to support them, talk to them through the whole situation. I mean, and sometimes all they want to do is just explain what the situation or how they're feeling is. You don't have, and I'm bad at this as well, is trying to provide a solution to a problem. I'm a fixer, and I can't do that in this situation. This is where I just need to sit back. I need to try to understand it and read as much as possible about it, and make sure I understand it to the best ability to be able to provide support for her. And it's a very tough thing. And yeah, I try to prepare myself mentally for the whole aspect of not being able to carry a kid and whatnot, but it doesn't weigh on me, because it's not me that's doing it, right? So for me to be able to help her and support her and just make sure that through thick and thin we're going to get through this is like the biggest thing that I can do for her. And I mean, when you love somebody, that should be the number one thing. You read some of these articles where the husband, is kind of just distant, and he just is angry or frustrated about, timed intercourse and all this other stuff. It's just like, come on, man. Like, you guys have one common goal, and that's to have a kid. And just be there for your wife. That's all I gotta say, is be there for your spouse, be there for her through thick and thin, and like just support her through this, because it's not only, a majority of the weight will fall onto her shoulders, but that's what your job is to be there, to understand why, the reasons why, and just educate yourself better on all that stuff. That's all I gotta say, really. Infertility sucks. And I'm sure when you see Rachel's point of view or side of this, it'll be completely different. And, it's just one of those things. And we're just getting ready to start this whole journey. We just got the big box of medication to have to get her set up to go through IVF. And it's gonna be a trying time for us. So anyway, just want to give you guys a quick little insight to the male's perspective, or how we should be thinking about infertility and being there for our wives, because we don't have to go through, nearly as much pains, medication, ups and downs. It's a lot different. So, word of advice: be there for your woman. Anyway, I'm out.